I am Grandpa Joe. My full name is Joe Hervatic. Last week I got a call from my granddaughter, and she said to me, "I hear you make a great apple pie." And I said, "Of course I do." She said, "Will you send me all the important things as to how to make it?" And I said, "I sure will." So I put it in the mail and mailed it early this week. And my oldest daughter came down, and we went to the movies yesterday. And on the way home, she said, "Wouldn't it be nice if we made a YouTube and send it to her as to how you make your pie?" I said, "That sounds like a good idea," so that's what we're going to do today. A little background. My mother was a fantastic baker, and one of the best things she made was apple pie. And she made it with the top crust. So when I sat down and had my apple pie, I would pull the top crust back, eat all the apples, and then eat the crust. And it was by routine all the time. So years later, I thought to myself, boy, I'd like to make an apple pie like my mother. So I started experimenting, and over the years I think I got pretty good, but I do not use the one with the top crust. I use a crumb top. And that's what we're going to go through today for my granddaughter. We're going to give her all the scoops as to how to make a great apple pie. Number one, my dear granddaughter, here's what we're going to need to make this pie. You're going to need the apple core, an apple peeler, a knife to cut the apples into thin slices, and this is what we call a pie blender, which is going to be used to make the crumb for the top of the pie. Obviously, this is the pie pin, and this is the bowl we're going to put the apples in initially after we cut them. And then we're going to transfer them to this one, because then we're going to use this to make the mix that goes in with the apples. And after that's done, I'll clean this, and then I'll make the crumb in the same bowl. And you'll follow the steps. And obviously the most important thing is the apples, and preferably Granny Smith apples. You could, if you look at the recipe I gave you, down in the corner it has other apples, but Cindy and I prefer the Granny Smith apples. They are the best. Well, my assistant is wandering over toward the window. Sammy, come on, get over here. This is our assistant for the day. He will supervise and make sure we do it all right. Look at the camera, Sam.
Sammy. There you go.
Okay, now we're going to go to work. You watch. And I peel the apples first before I core them, because Nicole, this is what you call efficiency. This is the best way to do it. And make sure you run the knife away from you or you'll cut your fingers.
So how long have you been making apple pies, Dad?
Oh, over 20 years.
Really?
Well, yeah, we used to make them when we lived in New Jersey. It's got to be at least 20, 25 years. It's been turning out good.
Yeah.
I haven't made one in a while, though. The camera woman here is my dear daughter, Liz. And, oh, the only thing I didn't show in the picture is, don't forget, we got the pie plate, but I didn't show the pie crust. So, but normally Grandma puts that in the pie pan. So we'll get her in this act too. Whoa, that always happens. And then what I do to get this, I use this end of the apple core and scoop it out. Get rid of the see, it comes out nice then. One done. Okay, my dear wife, Pam, Nicole's grandmother, is going to come into the scene now and show Nicole how you put the pie crust in the pie pan. Okay?
Okay, so you found out that, get this, okay, it works real well. Now, the problem is, this Pillsbury pie crust is made for a 9-inch pie plate, and we have a 10-inch. So what we do is this. Put it in, one, okay, just kind of set it in there, like such. You know, just gently, 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 gently. Now, you're probably wondering, Nicole, what about the top? Okay, this is what I do. I take the second pie crust, it comes with two, and I fold it in quarters, and then I just cut a little bit away like that. Just cut a triangle out, okay? Now open it up, lay it on top, got it? Okay, here's the fun part. Now we're gonna kind of pinch it together so the two of them stick together like one, right? All the way around. Make it one piece of pie crust. Doesn't matter what it looks like, nobody's gonna see it anyway. Let's take this and fold it under. Fold it under the edge. Fold. Yeah, fold. And we'll make sure that sticks down. Fold. All the way around. Fold it under all the way around. And then pushing, pushing, pushing. And then pushing. Okay. Pushing, pushing. Make sure we have everything together here. Okay. Next step. All right. And this is the final step. Here we go. Thumb. Pinch. 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 And do that all the way around. Pinch. 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 Pretty. 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 And pretty. Doesn't get much easier than that, right? Do a double check. Make sure everything is okay here.
Okay, Nicole, second step, we take these lovely peeled apples, and unfortunately I didn't cut myself, and we core them like this. Oh, that one was tough. Then these pieces, I've got a core that can be set in two positions, so I'm going to have some apples that are thick and some that are just the right size. So the ones that are thick, I got to cut several times to make thin slices. Got it? So that's what we're going to do now. This is a very tedious process. See, this is how thick they can be.
Right.
Because of this core I got. So I got to slice them a lot. You got to make sure the apples are thin. That's what the good book says. And that's what makes it a real good pie. Now that piece is just right. I hope you saw it. It went in there pretty quick. The next step is to prepare the ingredients that are mixed in with the apples. Okay, and if you look at the recipe, it calls for 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Okay. Fill it up. Well, I wouldn't lose my hand, but I should. You throw that in the bowl. Maybe a little bit more because I didn't have it completely filled up. Okay, that takes care of the sugar. That one aside. It calls for a 1/4 cup of flour. So you need a 1/4 cup measuring stick, spoon. Well, I've got a fancy bag here. And that's easy to do. The flour. A 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. There's a 1/2. You take this little sneaker off here and then you sneak it in there and get the, oh shoot. Well, we got a little on the table. Don't worry about that. Just throw it in the bowl. I'm getting nervous being an actor. A half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I said it right too.
Cinnamon.
I didn't say cinnamon.
Okay, you're good, you did good.
That's done. Let's look at this sucker now. Okay, next it says there's 2 tablespoons of margarine or butter. What I do then is I wait till after I mix this up, put it in with the apples, and put it in the pie pan. And then I take 2 tablespoons of butter and put it in the microwave and make it liquid and pour it on top of the pie. That will be consolation for doing this today is when before I go to bed tonight, I get to have a piece of this apple pie.
Hot.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good for my blood sugar. You're gonna mix this up. You take the apples, which I put in a big bowl because I gotta throw it in there and mix it with my hands. So it gets all mixed together. Okay? Now, the fun's job, I'm gonna take my watch off. It's like squashing grapes for one with your feet, but you're using your hands. And you've got to make sure you mix it good. Okay, Grandma just brought over the pie tin. Now, what we do is we put the apples in here. On the table. It tastes real good, man. I think we could have used a few more apples, but that's all that was in the bag. Probably could have used a couple more apples, so when you do yours, make sure you get maybe another pound of Granny Smith so you have extra apples and whatever's left, eat. But this is going to be good. Okay, now I go wash my hands off again. In the book it calls for 2 tablespoons of butter. So what I do is, I sort of guess at this one. Okay, I put it in this little dish. I'm going to put it in the microwave, melt it, and then pour it on the top. I need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Half a cup of packed brown sugar. This one's brand new. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Okay, brown sugar. Take it out in spoonfuls and make sure you get it up to the top. And if you get a little more in there, don't worry about it because you're going to need a lot of crumb. I'll just throw that in for kicks. Okay. Now the crumb recipe calls for half a cup of, it's actually 1 stick, okay? And what I normally do, this is firm. Make sure it's firm. 1, 2, 3, It's a fun job. You gotta learn to, you gotta be happy doing these things. Because I always have been, because I think it's a real sense of accomplishment for a man to be able to beat his wife every Thanksgiving and win the pie vote. But you know what's good though? With the pumpkin pie was always left for me.
Yeah, I love pumpkin pie.
Oh, I love pumpkin pie. Yours especially.
Thank you.
Well, I think we're about ready here, crummy wise. Here. What it looks like, Nicole. It may not be as crummy as you think it should be, but that's good enough, and it'll look real good on the pie. Promise you. Okay, so that's that part. Now that we're almost ready to put in the oven. Now what we do now is put it on top of the pie. Oh, this pie could have been taller. Oh, it's going to look good. Damn, it's going to look good. Oh, am I so proud of myself, man. Doesn't look good, doesn't it? Okay. Finished except to put in the oven. I like that, granddaughter. That's a pro. Don't forget, it's not real crummy like you see the ones in the stores, but it's perfect. It's good. And you'll enjoy it. And I'm going to enjoy this one tonight. Well, time for a beer. The next step is to put it in the oven. And I would suggest you put tinfoil underneath the pie so that when the juices run over, it doesn't go into the oven. And then with 10 minutes to go, as per the instructions, put tinfoil on the top. Bake it for 50 minutes at 425. And you should have a perfect Grandpa Joe's pie.